I will use my outside voice. Great. All right, everybody. Well, we will kick this off. Let me know if you're having trouble hearing me, but I will project a little bit more for today's call. We are here for our latest iteration of the Jobs First Collaborative meeting in Orange County. If you haven't done so already, please feel free to introduce yourself in English or Spanish in the chat. Maria will be dropping the agenda packet here in a second. We'll be sharing that so you have all that accessible to you. Um, Always a pleasure being with you all in this space. Appreciate you taking the time and joining us this Friday. So thank you. So seeing that we have our friend and partner from Charitable Ventures here, we'll go ahead and kick off our agenda. And we're actually going to dedicate a little bit of time to talk about uh, updates on round one of contracts for the awards that have been given to some of you here today. We'd like to get some updates of where things stand with your work, and also I think moving forward we'll be dedicating some time at each meeting for this collaborative just to get some quick updates from folks on the ground on these projects. But um, I want to turn it over now to our friend and colleague Natalie Wynn from Charitable Ventures to provide some updates today. She'll first provide updates on the round one awardees, and then we'll move into actually getting some updates from the projects themselves, from the sector investment coordinators, and then we'll give Natalie a chance to also talk a little bit about the update for round two awardees. And so Natalie, we'll pass it over to you. And while Natalie's presenting, Maria will be sharing her screen so that you can follow along. And then we also want to, if time permits, and we want to give an opportunity for you all to ask maybe a question or two. But we definitely want to keep those questions brief so we can proceed with the agenda today. But Natalie, let's kick it over to you so you can give us these very important and timely updates. Good to have you here this morning.
Thank you.
And not only,
yeah.
did you want to share your own screen? Otherwise, Jesse has the deck ready to go.
I'm ready to share my own screen. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay.
All
Go
right,
ahead.
give me a second here. Let me go ahead and share that.
Thank you, Natalie.
Of course. All right, you all see my screen here?
We can. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna click this button and I'm gonna hope you guys are able to see it in this view. Can you guys see the slides without all extra stuff?
Yeah, it's great.
Yep.
It's
Okay.
just fine.
Wonderful. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Just wanted to take a couple minutes here to talk about round one awardee updates. So let's go ahead and get started. For contracts, 13 of the 14 awardees have fully executed contracts. We're just waiting on one for the contracting process. The last subcontractor is a city, so as you know, there's a lot of processes within that. So no worries, they're already able to begin work. It's just they just haven't finished completing signing a contract. With that though, 3.1 million of 3.4 million has been committed so far. With work beginning as of May 1st or June 1st, we're receiving reports on how the awardees are spending down and how they're doing. From what I heard from the OCBC team and from some of the sector investment coordinator reports, the programs are doing work as expected, and we are receiving the monthly financial reports. And on finances, so of the 3.4 million and the contract term of either 16 or 17 months, about 21% of the contracts have elapsed, meaning for our contracts that had started in May, 4 months has elapsed, and then for contracts that have started in June, 3 months of the contracts has elapsed. So the average is about 21%. And so with that too, about 21% of the committed funds have been sent. You can see that on the pie chart to the right, 4% of which or $135,000 has been sent at advance payment. And then that money that has been spent is 588,000. So in short, really healthy spend. Next would be the round two awardee updates, but I think I'm going to give space and the sharing back to Jesse and Maria and the OCBC team to talk about the program updates, and then I'll come back with the round 2 awardee updates, unless you wanted me to continue.
Nope, just Ish, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, thank you, Natalie. I think we actually, if it's okay, we'll open the floor for any questions that folks
Sure.
may have about round 1. So if there's any questions from any of you, you can come off mute or just simply raise your hand, and we'll give you a chance to ask your question, and Natalie can answer that. So any questions related to round 1 awardees? Okay. I'm not seeing any, so thank you, Natalie. We'll come back to you here in a second. We're actually going to give an
I
opportunity.
see one from Nate Ish.
You do? Okay. Nate, sorry, I didn't catch your hand there. Go ahead and come off mute.
Sorry, it took me a second to find the button.
All good. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. I was curious to know if any of the recipients thus far have shared any sort of feedback or experiences with any sort of the contract execution processes.
Not feedback that we've solicited, but I'll give space to Jesse Maria, OCBC team, on any thoughts that you might have received, since I know they may be corresponding with you as well.
Nate, I don't have any. That said, I think the second round has, and Natalie will report on this, is already going much smoother. I think we learned some lessons on our end that probably made it a little bit clunkier for everyone to kind of get things through. So I think things are now a lot more compact and streamlined. So I don't think anyone ever said this is a headache, but I think we recognize that some of the ways things unfolded. And again, OCBC and CV will readily admit to that. So I think to your broader point, any challenges we did have, I think got fixed. And I think round 2 is going much faster because of it. I think we are making it easier for the applicants to just understand what do they have to deliver to CV. Here's the draft contract. Here's a DocuSign, and it's going much smoother.
Great. Thank you, Jesse and Nate. Thank you for your question. Any other comments or questions? We have time for one more if anybody wants to come off mute or raise your hand. I'm going to check the chat really quick just to see if anybody dropped the question in there. Okay, no questions, but we do see some reassurance there from Yosefa. Things got started out with some challenges, but things are looking smoother. Awesome. Thank you for support. Okay, well, good. Thank you, Yosefa, for that reassurance. All right. Well, unless there's any other questions or comments, I'm actually going to turn it over now to our sector investment coordinators to provide their own updates on round 1 projects. And to begin, we're going to start with the Marathon project with Marathon, and we're going to give an opportunity to hear about the County of Orange Workforce Reentry Center project. And Nathan is here to tell us a little bit about how that's going on. And so we're going to pass it over to him to give us a brief verbal report on the project.
All right.
Nathan.
Thank you very much. And good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. It's great to be with you all. My name is Nathan Shapiro. I'm with Marathon Communications. And as Ismail said, we are supporting the county on their workforce reentry development project. So my update is brief but positive. On August 12th, the Board of Supervisors approved the development agreement and MND for the project, which is a key milestone. The development agreement includes pre-development and pre-construction activities, including finalizing development plans and designs for the project. And that is in line with the original schedule that the county has presented to all of us in terms of their project timeline. So it's super exciting to see that move forward. And then our next phase of support will be supporting the county with community engagement and strategies with the contractor for the Workforce Reentry Center, which is an organization called HIRE. And we look forward to supporting the county and HIRE with those efforts. So overall, the project is moving forward on time. And we're happy to see that the County Board of Supervisors moved forward with the DA and MND last month. So thank you all, and that's my update for today.
Great. Thank you, Nathan, and congratulations on your milestone. Good to hear that the project's proceeding on timeline. Any questions or a comment for Nathan before we move on to our next presenter? Would any of you like to come off mute or raise your hand and ask a question? Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, Nathan. Keep us posted as things proceed. All right, we're gonna give Jack Tone is here to give us an update on round one project. This is the, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right. This is the Tavan project. I hope I got that right, Jack. But
Yes, Tavan.
Tavan. All right. Well, thank you. Let's turn it over to you, Jack, so you can give us an update on your project. Welcome.
Sure. Thank you. I am speaking on behalf of Jacqueline Russell, who I'm partnering with on this project to support Tavan, which is a project of the Iranian American Chamber of Commerce. Tavan actually means power and the whole point is to grow power within the community for them to be self-sufficient and so the name is relevant to the work that they're doing. From the agenda report that was sent out, you see all their activities that they've been engaging in. So they've been really active and running really fast. They continue to have very positive feedback from the Iranian community, as well as elected officials who have interacted with them. And Shani, who's leading the effort, is using Jacqueline and I as thought partners to really kind of think through some of the details, and we're just helping her think through the approach and the work itself. A few challenges they've run into, I think, with many organizations as well, is probably a capacity issue. They're moving extremely fast and expanding very quickly and sort of outpacing their staff resources. So just taking a look at how to balance all that out and making sure she has the right support in place, and looking at her own organization. And then been working really to help Shani to connect with other potential partner organizations as well. So things are going really well. Things are moving forward. But staffing challenges for everybody is difficult when those things hit. And so she's working through all those things and is on track to start, beginning some pilot work as well, and getting some good feedback through there with the community. So that's where we're at.
Great. Thank you so much, Jack, for that very honest and forthcoming update. It's great to hear about both the successes, but also some of the challenges you're encountering, and certainly staffing capacity issues are not exclusive to this organization at this moment. So thank you for that update. Any questions or comments for Jack in this project? You can raise your hand or come off mute or.
Ismail, this is Linda DeMario. Jack, I'm really, really happy that you're working with Shani on this. I was at the birth of this organization originally. Shani and I have known each other for a long time. And the good news is that we're funding them in sort of a next evolution of the work that they're doing, which is so excellent. But I never bet against Shani, ever. She's quite remarkable. And they went through our nonprofit accelerator. They're always growing, always learning, and very coachable. So I'm really thrilled you're working with them.
Yeah, she certainly moves fast.
Thank you, Linda, for those comments. All right. Well, thank you, Jack, again for that update. Look forward to hearing from you at future meetings how things are progressing. At this moment, would like to pass it on to Christina Blevins, who is here to provide some updates on the Cielo project. And I understand, Christina, you have a couple slides, so we'll get those on screen. And let's turn it over to you.
Thank you. So this first slide is really just the background of the project. The goal is to launch a network of entrepreneur-owned childcare businesses, and Cielo is hoping to provide the ongoing support with marketing outreach and back office services. And then this is the timeline. So in the next slide is the update for this quarter. So we have completed the deliverables for this quarter in terms of the research feasibility study and the market analysis. And so we're looking at the research questions and identifying what data already exists that we can use to help us understand what the market looks like and how likely we are to be successful in rolling this out to providers. And then moving forward, our next steps are to really create a report do some surveys, interviews with providers and understand the market trends and the feasibility. Do some cost modeling to see what this is going to cost for long-term sustainability, and then establish some partnerships to make sure it does live on past the grant timeline.
Great, thank you, Christina. And did you have a second slide you wanted to share, or was this it?
This was the second one, yep.
Got it, okay. All right, any questions or comments, feedback for Christina? And this very important project here?
Ish, I just wanted to comment as a representative.
Yes.
Hi, as a representative of Cielo, we do in this process value those sector coordinators. So having Christina Blevins representing like the childcare space, but then also Jacqueline Russell sort of helping out as a project management and otherwise. And in addition to that, by being a part of this ecosystem, we've connected with other organizations that are receiving Catalyst grants that are doing similar work. So like Tevon, I had met with Shani, and then also with Hope Services, had met with their team as they're building out something similar. So appreciate the connectivity that's being created for like or similar projects, as well as the additional capacity from industry expertise and project management. So just uplifting those parts that have been pretty helpful this first quarter.
Wonderful. It's great to hear, Josefa, that community of practice is sort of coming together with amongst you awardees there in the county on this very timely priority. Any other questions or comments for this project before we?
Yes, we actually, one of the attendees, and since we have time, I will promote her, allow her to ask her question. So Catherine or Kat, you're able to ask your question now.
Thank you so much, Jesse, and thank you for allowing us to be here. I'm just curious, on the completed deliverables, you defined the initial impact indicators for the pilot. Can you talk a little bit more about how many providers you will be supporting and families? Like, what are the outcomes of the program?
Yes, Josefa or Christina, do you have an approximation for that question?
I don't have those numbers on me, so I'm hoping Josefa does. Sorry, I'd have to look through and pull them up.
Thanks for the easy question, the softball there, Catherine. Well, but it's a great question. That's part of this process. So we're building on the success of the incubator that we established was First 5 in the last couple of years. So just this last year, we have 70 licensed providers that have launched. The purpose of this work that we're doing now, it's more of the acceleration. So it's how do we support those who have launched versus those who are looking to launch. And so currently we have 70 individuals who sort of fit that category. But part of the feasibility study and the economic modeling is to determine what the number, what the right number is to make this work and to make it sustainable, and to make sure that we have the sufficient, we achieve the impact that we want to achieve. But that's part of this initial work. We just hired a researcher that's joining our team to help vet all of these research questions. And then we'll soon be working with a consultant to help with the economic modeling. So maybe within another quarter, you can come back with that question and we'll have a more solid answer.
Great, thank you, Josefa. And then Josefa and Christina, I do see a comment in the chat from Julie Castro. It says you have an open door invitation at the City of Santa Ana's Economic Development Division. We host monthly business startup workshops, and there are several people with an interest of launching a childcare business. So hopefully that partnership can maybe come to fruition offline, and some follow-up can happen there. Thank you, Julie, for leaving that in the chat for our partners. Great. Well, Jesse, I'm going to turn it over to you to give us an update on the other projects. I know you've been close to all of these, so let's give you some time to bring folks up to speed on where the rest of these projects are at the moment.
Yeah, so thanks, Ish. I'm not the sector investment coordinator for any of these, but they just weren't available to provide this, so I'm just providing I'm speaking on their behalf. In future meetings, I think we'll notify them much sooner. We would expect all of them to kind of give these updates and reports because they are much closer. So I'm just kind of reporting out. I'm passing the word along here. So there was the project where we were funding kind of the development or thinking about what a small and medium-sized kind of manufacturer collaborative will look like. So the CSU, that's at Cal State Fullerton, is holding it in their School of kind of Engineering, the mechanical engineering to be exact. So they have the administrative team together to put together the scope, deliverables, and timelines. They have done some stakeholder mapping, which is important, right? That you have to have industry at the center, but are there education partners, government partners, other workforce partners that should be at the table? Data collection framework. So how are they going to determine the work needs assessment? What should be in those questions? What labor market data to know, which part, because manufacturing is so big, what portions of manufacturing are actually intended to grow in Orange County? And they've done some logistical planning. So they've kind of set out how they're going to outreach to these partners, as they've mentioned in the stakeholder mapping, and kind of some preliminary agendas for those topics. So, and this was a concept. It was a much smaller funding. So I wouldn't compare them necessarily to the other scopes of work that you see that are probably moving along a lot faster. So just kind of give you an update there. Any questions on that one? If not, I'll move on to the next one.
I'm not seeing any in the chat or any hands raised.
And if you have any, I'll keep rolling through because there's no other sector investment coordinators available. So feel free to ask them. Yeah.
I'm the sector coordinator, one of them working with Fullerton.
Yeah. I was like, do you want to take the Fullerton College one?
Yeah, because we just had a more current meeting. So
sure.
All the things that you're seeing here is we've been working with Jay and his team. Kathy Boyd with OC Department of Education and myself are supporting this one. And we have developed a survey that we have approved and signed off on. It is now being uploaded and created in an online version. We anticipate, our goal is that it will go out on September 23. And then we have a series of follow-up dates on September 30th and October 3rd, where we'll be following up on the results and also pinging people to remind them to take it. We have a complete target company list to whom it will be sent. It'll be sent to at least 6 or 7 titles within each company, so that in addition to HR, we get decision makers that are engaged as well. So we're in a very good shape to sort of get off the ground with introducing the concept. And then we will be interviewing at least 3 of the companies in person.
Thank you. Any questions for Linda? Okay, seeing none, I'll keep moving on here. The next project that was funded in round 1 as an update is kind of Capo Unify. They have a college and career advantage. It's kind of their version of the ROP for people who know that, who kind of work with high schoolers and adult learners. It's far more kind of technical and career training. But an update again on behalf of Kathy Boyd here is, they originally had a focus of 200 students, some mostly high school, but some adults for pre-apprenticeship, but they're now actually really exploring a full apprenticeship pathway, including non-traditional and youth apprenticeship models. They already had a partnership with the Carpenters Union, but now they've received kind of some more funding through the Ron Simon Family Foundation. So now they have even more funding. So we like that they're finding other dollars, that our funding isn't the only thing. I think it provides sustainability. It shows sustainability and buy-in if you can convince others to fund it as well. They still though maintain, of course, which was critical to their success in the application, was that they're committed to the disinvested communities in South Orange County. We thought that ensuring that every region was funded was important. They were the major South County project funded, so they're still committed to the disinvested communities, and they're looking now to try to do 5 formal partnerships, 3 core construction skills and 2 soft skill modules, and get industry certifications as they build out the pre-apprenticeship into apprenticeship. Any questions about, and sorry, these are all kind of construction oriented jobs, but I should have led off with that. So these are all in the construction industry. That was the industry of focus for this project. Any questions there?
Not seeing any in the chat.
Yeah.
Or any hands.
Next is Community Action Partnership of Orange County. They had 2 projects that were funded. One was around weatherization technicians. I'm trying to try to like how do homes and buildings have the right technology and installations to actually be more energy efficient. So again, on behalf of Kathy Boyd, because this is more of a workforce oriented project, so they successfully submitted their apprenticeship application to the state. They created a go no go criteria for funding a site to do the training. That's one thing they're working on is you got to have the people physically come in. So where will that building be? What's the process as they make that selection? They've already identified 16 potential locations. They haven't secured one or identified the best one, but they are, pounding the pavement a little bit, looking at sites. And then they've started to kind of build on their kind of existing training curriculum so far in this first quarter.
Jesse,
Yes.
can I just
Yeah,
hot off the
please.
press? This week, we officially got the federal designation to be a registered apprenticeship program.
Yes.
We are official now. So we were
All
excited
right. So
about that.
there we go. So I love this. See, things are happening in real time. Love it. Thank you for jumping. Any other, actually, LaShawn, you're on any other updates that you've heard from your colleagues? That's it. That's a big update, though. So congratulations. All right, next is Bowles Consulting. This project was, again, trying to research kind of the feasibility of urban farming here in Orange County and trying to identify another urban farm. I think we kind of have one through the work of Thrive and Cooperación already in Santana. So they're looking for adding another here. So what have they done so far? So they've studied existing vertical farm initiatives, not even nationally, but internationally, as you see, as they like really Singapore's 30 by 30 initiative to understand what best practices and scalable solutions could come to somewhere in Orange County. And they've done the outreach to stakeholders of some of these initiatives to try to interview them, understand best practices, challenges, opportunities, risks, as they think about, again, where the right location would be, what would need to be overcome in order to put an urban farm in another part of Orange County. Any questions on that project? This one was also a much smaller $50,000 project. So the scope, of course, as you can imagine, isn't as broad as what you're seeing in some of these other projects and those updates.
I don't see any questions in the chat, Jesse, or any hands raised.
Sure. The next one, kind of working on, it was like kind of it's about expanding health insurance and health insurance opportunities to the community. So they want to have a workforce that helps people do that. So they have their health insurance agents. So they've actually enrolled and trained 5 more people as part of their organization in order to do that. They brought in a data analyst and outside consultant. So now they have a CRM in order to kind of ensure that kind of everyone they're intaking, kind of all that data is stored properly. They have a community health worker kind of talent pipeline, and they've developed kind of the training outline in order to get people trained. Again, most of this work, as you know, is pre-development. Some projects do flow into implementation. So it is not necessarily we've trained 20 people to become community health workers, but what are all the pieces we need to put together in order to get us ready to do that? So we're funding that work. So the development of curriculum, as you can imagine, or the training process is important in that pre-development work. And they also have a health access assister. So they're targeting development of training outline and curriculum for those jobs as well, still being built out. And again, as we get updates, we hope that all of them kind of, this one actually is finalized as more get finalized. And then they're kind of exiting the health access assisters to receive continued training and support. Any other questions there?
No questions in the chat. No
Sure,
hands
sure,
raised
sure.
either.
This last one, no, that's right. It may not be the last one. My apologies. Is the CEO leadership of Orange County. They did kind of an AI water project. So kind of AI career pathways. How do water districts also use AI with their workforce in order to be more efficient with their water? So they have developed training. They've already worked with UCI on kind of developing the training modules and how kind of AI concepts will be embedded when it thinks about work. They have partnered with Multi-Niguel Water District, so they have a water district, so a practitioner kind of at the table. So they're just not building it in the abstract, but they're actually verifying it with, hey, Multi-Niguel, how would you deploy this with your workforce? So they've kind of brought their insight to the table. They're using a California Data Collaborative in developing and testing data models to analyze what the AI-driven strategies that the water district could try to deploy. They developed an early analytical framework for the workforce training needs. preliminary model design, also with Molten Nagel kind of at the table. They've even presented at the California Workforce Association, which is primarily a lot of the workforce boards and workforce-oriented organizations throughout the state. So there's actually some interest in what they're doing and how it could expand maybe to other public agencies. So I'm glad that something in Orange County is getting some recognition, or at least being brought to be shared throughout the state. And they're identifying the opportunities for AI integration in the regional water management, and then gathering feedback again from the practitioners, so people from Molten Nagel on the ground, to see if it's actually working. So good progress being made on that project.
Great. No questions in the chat or any hands raised either.
And Cap OC, this is now one where they focus on an affordable housing project, an unincorporated part of the county, but it's pretty much adjacent to Anaheim. LaShonda, feel free to jump in as well if you've gotten even more updates from Curtis on this. But they've submitted to the county the final plan of approval, so that's a wonderful first step. They're going through the process in order to determine how they can have Section 8 housing choice vouchers as part of this. So working with the county, it's always a back and forth. They are working on the construction drawings and building permit. They hope to have that done by January 2026. So the next meeting will be in October, but we're probably going to be focused on round 3 funding, which I'll get to in a bit. But then our meeting after that will be January. So hopefully good news on that front by the next time we meet with them. They've executed the phase 1 environmental. And so this is asbestos and lead paint testing for the 2 existing structures that they have to demolish to build the multiple housing units. They have civil engineering work being done. They've executed an E4 utility design for dry utility related to planning activities, and they've already executed the SoCal flow testing for work related for testing water pressure. So again, great progress, my opinion, going on there. But LaShonda, anything else that was mentioned that Curtis and his team has been working on?
No, I mean, you pretty much covered it, Jesse. It's a lot of pre-work right now, so it's all requirement stuff. There's nothing new to report.
No, yeah, but that's the nature of building something. So again, this is fun. This funding is being useful. It's for Cap OC to do this work, and hopefully we'll see structures up in the not too distant future. And then last is La Milpa Cafe. Nate, I know you're on, and you're probably pretty close to this, but this is kind of the update we got from them. They've added 2 new member owners, and this is about a cooperative cafe. So everyone kind of working there has ownership in it. They already have a location. They've rented a location. They've made preparations for the soft opening. They've passed buildings and health inspections. They've even held the soft opening. Part of the process for the member owners is to make sure that they have a financial process in place, that they have the financial literacy in place to kind of have ownership and to run their business well. You know, as you can imagine, social media, I think, drives a lot of customers. So helping those owner members have a social media presence. And if you see at the bottom, they've grown it by 50% since the beginning of this. They've also, with our funds, are able to hire a consultant, someone who has experience working at coffee shops, and to make sure that no one misses a beat. Common mistakes aren't being made, and they're currently working on a consultant. Oh, sorry, they've recruited a consultant for marketing, and again, that'll probably help drive the social media presence and whatnot, because that person has this expertise in it. But Nate, I know you're on. I don't know how close you are with this project, but I know that Guapacion, of course, is close generally. So I don't know if you had any other updates beyond what you see here. But this is what I got from them as far as their most recent progress report.
No, that's a pretty solid update. I've been working with them individually to understand better the processes of managing the grant. It's not something that they had experience in. And then with Cooperacion's experiences with managing some of the state grant funds that we have gotten in the past, it's been a successful experience so far in making sure that in line with the purposes of everything you just mentioned.
Yeah.
That, reporting back to you all is a facet that has also been a challenge. But nonetheless, if you find yourself in Santana, feel free to stop by and get yourself a coffee.
Yeah, great pitch. I agree.
Yeah, duly noted.
All right, with that, I think we're off to Natalie, so I'll stop share here and have her pull up her own slides.
Great. Thank you, Jesse, for that thorough update on these other projects that were funded under round 1. And it's great to see in the chat that there's connections happening on some of these projects amongst you all. So I think that's one of the values for bringing this to you at these collaborative meetings. All right, well, Natalie, we're going to come back to you now, and we're going to give you an opportunity to give us an update on the contracts with round 2 projects. So let's give you the floor once again.
Sorry, I was muted. Do you guys still see the slides on the screen?
We can, yes.
Perfect. Okay, so just sorry, give me a second here. We're on round 2 awardee updates. So contracts of the 18 awardees so far, 5 have fully executed contracts and their work had began earlier this month. 4 on the final steps of the contracting process with their contract effective dates being September 1st, and then 9 are beginning work on October 1st. For those who are beginning work on October 1st, we are prioritizing the September 1st contract dates before we move on to the October one. So if there's some kind of delay, it's likely because of that. With that though, I'm happy to note that 1.2 million of the 4.6 million has been committed so far. Last thing I'll talk about is finances. So with the earliest contract effective date being September 1st, many have just begun work. So we're expecting the first financial report, that being an invoice, the 10th of next month. By the end of this month, we're hoping to commit about half of the funding to all the awardees. And then by the end of October, which is also the next collaborative meeting, we're looking forward to committing all the funds to all the awardees for round 2. And those are my updates, short and sweet. I will open it up to any questions that you might have related to round 2 awardees.
Great, thanks, Natalie.
Of course.
Any questions or comments from folks on round 2?
Good morning. This is Vatana from the Cambodian family. Natalie, quick questions for those who are starting late. Is there a modification to the grant end date, or is it any modification to when the deliverable will be met?
Yeah, that's a great question, Fatana. Good morning, by the way. So to answer your question, for those who are starting, in October, the contract conclusion date is the same for all contracts. So all work needs to be concluded by September 30th, 2026. That's just that's the time that our state contract expires, and so that's the deadline for all of the awardees that have funding passed down to them as well. So for round 1, all of those contracts expire September 30th, and then for all of round 2, regardless of the date that their contract starts, their contracts also expire on September 30th, 2026. Does that answer your question?
Yes, and a follow-up question. That's great. So in case if an organization is not able to expend the remaining grant by the end date because they started late, is there any plan B? How do you want to allocate those remaining funding, or do they have to return it? If they return, that is a problem for us. We have to decide where to use money. So how do we keep track of that expenses on a regular basis so that grants are expended on time and without any return back to us, so that we don't face any challenges in terms of making a decision where to invest those funding or given to an organization?
Yeah, great question, Vatana. As I understood it, so your question was effectively what happens after that deadline and the funds are not fully expended, and then
And is there any regular follow-up mechanism in terms of expenses? Can they
yeah.
submit on the regular report, like every 3 months or every 6 months? Should be a report back to us, making sure that they're spending or they underspend it or they overspend it. If they are underspend it, what kind of strategy we have to help them?
Great question. So I'm going to try to answer your question in 3 parts here. So to the first part of your question is what happens if funds are not expended by September 30th, 2026? That is the conclusion of the funding. So if, let's say, for a $500,000 contract, if by September 30th only 400,000 has been expended, as in by expended I mean approved and submitted, then the funding concludes at that time as well. So there's no further funding, even though contract maximum obligations are up to 500,000. So that's to answer your first question. To answer your second question, the second part of your question is these contracts are a cost reimbursement contract. And so what that means is awardees will report back how they spend down. They do so on a monthly basis with financial reports. So what that looks like on a monthly basis is as on the 10th of each month, somewhere between the 10th to the 15th of each month, we receive financial reports for all awardees. We review those, include those in a packet to be sent off to the state. After the state reviews, we receive a check from the state for the amounts listed, and then we disperse that money back to all the awardees. And so in that way, there's not money, quote unquote, left on the table, but if the funds, essentially, if you signed a contract for X amount and you do not expend X amount, that just means that it's money unrealized. But that is to say, is that maximum amount is the absolute maximum that we're able to request from the state just based off of allowances or allocations that we have for all of the awardees. And so if a contract is for 500,000, again, I'm just saying a hypothetical number, the contract maximum is a not to exceed amount. So essentially, if a project goes over because they would like to do additional work or they had just overspent, the maximum is 500,000 to ensure equity for all of the projects that were funded. I hope that answered your question. I know it was a lot, so let me
Yeah.
know if there's anything I need to follow up on.
Thank you. But I'm
course.
still like trying to get the committed thing about, because for example, this is my concern. Okay. So if an organization is not able to spend the fully agree amount, let's say we have $500,000, right? It's a cost reimbursement. Totally understand. Just submit the invoice, you get paid of what you spend so far. And then we are leaving the money on the table, mean that the state will not reimburse whatever the thing. And then there's so many organizations that apply for the funding, but they did not get funded. And for an organization not to expend the full amount and leaving, let's say they only spend 400,000 up to 500,000, mean that we are leaving $100,000 on the table at the state, even though that fund has not been to us, but that is a kind of like committed funding, right? So I invite all of us to think about, is there any mechanism that we can support grantee to make sure that, why are you underspending? Is it because you have a delay in hiring staff, because you are not able to hire consultant? How can we support you, right? Is there anything we can support you along the way to make sure that you're expending that amount? For me, because I feel like we do not do a service to other organizations that apply and did not get selected, and this funding is being left on the table. And that is just my feedback. Thank you.
Oh, of course. Thank you, Vatana. To that, Jesse, I'll leave space for you too, so you can speak on the sector investment coordinator. So the monthly reports, as we get to the 1 year mark, or even the 6-month mark, we're hoping to, if there are awardees that are not spending down as expected. So essentially, if you remember the slide for round 2, so we're for round 1 that shows spend and healthy spend, that's how we're able to track. So on a large scale, we're able to do so. But because we're also reviewing and submitting these reports on a monthly basis, we're able to see how certain projects are spending down. So I love that you brought that up, because truly it is something worth considering, that if there's money left on the table for for example, all of the round 1 awardees, that money could be reutilized to different projects that, have already hit their limit. They can get future different types of funding if needed. But again, don't want to speak ahead for the OCBC team. That's something for us to confer with. So thank you, Vatana, for sharing that. And then in terms of ensuring success for the awardees, I know the sector investment coordinators are one part. I know the OCBC team is very helpful. So Jess, if you wanted to speak on that, by all means, but hope this helps, Vatana.
No, I think point well taken. And as we get closer to recognize who might be not moving as quickly as they anticipated and spend down, then we can think about plans to redirect those dollars if any projects are actually in a position where they're going to leave money on the table, as you say, Vatana. So thanks for elevating that now. I think we're only in Q1 here, so we'll see. We'll give it at least one more quarter to recognize if there's any red flags. And the sector investment coordinators who check in at least monthly with all these projects, they are ultimately getting paid by this grant, so their loyalty is to CV, OCBC, and all of you, and not to try to pretend that the projects are doing better than they really are.
Great. Thank you, Natalie and Jesse, both. Nate, I see your hand up. If you can make the question brief so we can proceed with the rest of the agenda, but I do want to give you an opportunity to raise your question. Go ahead, Nate.
Thanks. Just to understand the question Vatana brought up, were all recipients, were their contracts executed at the same time, or were there a few that were late?
Real quick, Nate, do you mean for round 1 or round 2 so far?
Round 2.
Round 2. So with the 2 different contract effective dates, your question was there a delay, or I'm so sorry. Do you mind
Yeah,
reiterating your
and
question?
I heard a point about if some folks receive their contracts later, now they have a shortened time frame to try and expend it before the end of the period.
Right. Yeah, so yes, if they started late, they have a shorter time frame to complete said work in their work plan, but the difference between both the contract effective dates is really only 1 month. We are amendable, so essentially if you had already started work in September because you had already received the notice that you know, you had received funding and you're very like, okay, I'm going to start working with this subcontractor, I'm going to sign this contract to start work as effective as of September 1st. We're very amenable, like we can change the contract effective date up so that you're able to include all expenses included that started since September, but it's not a hard and fast rule. We just have that in place so that we can kind of manage expectations. So essentially, if you're able to submit things later because you haven't started work yet, that's fine. We'll push your contract effective date to later because likely you aren't ready to start work yet. But if you're ready to start right now, we had that in place so that everyone who is ready to start now or already started work, they would get to start work as soon as possible. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
Great. Thank you, Nate and Natalie. And for any other follow-up questions, certainly reach out to Natalie directly so that she can help get you the answer that you're looking for whatever question you may have. Thank you. We're going to proceed with the final agenda item because we are running short on time here. So you heard about round 1, you heard about round 3. We're now going to jump into, I'm sorry, round 1 and round 2. We're now going to jump into round 3. So last Friday, Maria emailed you all a copy of the round 3 notice of funding opportunity, the NOFO, along with the link to the materials for round 3. We're going to give her an opportunity in the next 10 minutes or so here to provide an overview of the NOFO for round 3, which is scheduled to be released this upcoming Monday, September 22nd. So keep an eye out for that. For this third round, there's going to be an availability of up to $1 million to execute on the 5 sector activation plans. As a reminder, those 5 sector activation plans are healthcare, medical technology, semiconductor, childcare, and tourism and outdoor recreation. And so all of these plans are linked within the NOFO and are also available on the OC Jobs First webpage. So Maria, let me kick it over to you so you can walk us through, give us this overview of the round 3 NOFO, and also show us the portal, which should be familiar with folks because it was the same portal that was used for round 2. So over to you, Maria.
Okay, and you can hear me well-ish?
We can hear you just fine, and we can see your screen as well.
Okay, awesome. All right, y'all. So I'm going to walk you through some of the sections of the NOFO. We're actually going to start with page 4. So you might have noticed as you were reviewing the NOFO in the past week that this round is different from rounds 1 and 2. There is up to 1 million in funding available, and round 3 funding is designated to advanced tasks in the 5 activation plans that this collaborative submitted to the state as of June 30, 2025. The goals of funding sector activation plan tasks are to invest in industries that will advance good paying job opportunities in the sectors that Ish mentioned, so healthcare, medical technology, semiconductor, childcare, tourism, and outdoor recreation. And then eligible proposals and activities will be to address any tasks under the tactical work plan within each activation plan and must be proposed by a responsible party listed in the same section. Eligible entities are those listed as a responsible party within the tactical work plan or parties that can reasonably classify themselves within the group. So you'll want to make sure that you're reading through the sector activation plan. If the applicant is an eligible party, then their proposal must be in accordance with the task that the responsible party is listed under. I'll go to page 6 now. So applicants may submit proposals for multiple tasks, but each task requires its own proposal. Entities are allowed to act as fiscal agents for multiple orgs. Again, it's going to be really important that they're looking through the tasks within each of the activation plan. I'll go to page 8. So when reviewing the scoring criteria, note that the increased focus on comprehensive work plans and organizational qualifications, as the ability to deliver is more critical than in rounds 1 and 2. So the points for those have changed. In previous rounds, the funds were directed toward pre-development rather than implementation. So there was naturally an understanding that those projects may not do well in the implementation stage. And then the ratings are as follows. So project impact is 20 points. Economic equity is 20 points. The work plan is 25 points. The org qualifications are 20 points. And then the proposed budget and budget narrative are 15 points. And then I'll walk you through the scoring criteria more specifically when I walk you through the application in the grant web portal in a bit. And we'll go to page 13. The selection process, the regional convener staff in consultation with the sector investment coordinator for the sector that the task falls under will provide a recommendation of projects to the OC Collaborative to be awarded based on the scoring criteria listed above. And then upon deliberation between the regional conveners, so in this case, OCBC and the collaborative, the regional convener will decide if any modifications to the original selections will be made, and then direct the fiscal agent to begin the contracting process. And then a question that you might have is how much funding is provided to each of the sectors. So the intent of the scoring committee will be to allocate up to $200,000 in funding to each of the 5 eligible sectors. And then so long as the competitive proposals justify the allocation. And then just like rounds 1 and 2, we will again provide grant writing mentorship to assist applicants. So the mentor will provide advice on preparing a complete and compelling proposal, but they won't write the grant proposal for the applicant or provide consultation on the design of the project. This is the same thing as round 1 and round 2. And then applicants are welcome to request up to 5 hours of mentorship at no cost by contacting me at the Jobs First email. Applications will open on Monday, September 22nd. So just in a few days, as long as everything goes according to plan and we don't have any issues with our webpage. And they'll close on Friday, October 17 at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then award notification should happen by Wednesday, November 5th. And we'll be hosting a webinar for applicants on Friday, October 3rd. And I'll now walk you all through the grant web portal, which is the same portal applicants used to apply in round 2 and the same portal that you all use to score applications. So this is the portal, and within the NOFO, we have it linked, and we'll also have it linked on the Jobs First webpage. We'll also have it linked in the Constant Contact newsletter that I send out for each round to announce the application launch. They'll have a username and password if they've already applied before. And if they haven't, they'll just click on create new account, and then it'll send them an email. They'll then click the link and they'll be able to create their own password. So I'll log on. I'll pretend I'm an applicant. I'll go to apply. And then I'll look at the purpose of the funding. So if I want to read more about the purpose of the funding and the eligible proposals and activities, I'll go to this page. Everything's been hyperlinked, everything that they need. So they'll be able to go to the activation plan. And then tasks not explicitly listed in any of the activation plans are ineligible for funding. I'll then click apply because I'm interested in applying. So it'll have all my details here as an applicant, what org I'm with, EIN number, all that. They'll click on the NOFO link if they want to read more about the NOFO, if they're not actually sure because they found us on the webpage. And then we'll have an FAQ link that we're updating, and it answers common questions. And they'll provide info about their fiscal agent if they have one, co-applicant information, fiscal agent name, org type, again, EIN number, contact info. And then if they have a partner, they'll upload a file here with MOUs, contracts, signed letters. This is all the same as in round 2. Project name, And then they'll select their sector, which sector they're interested in. They'll provide a brief description of their project, the project impact. This all matches the NOFO. Economic equity, again, our webpage is linked here. The work plan, so they'll provide a timeline of specific activities, etc. Their org qualifications, budget upload, their total funding request. So if they won 150, they'll put 150,000. Their budget narrative, and the links are here, hyperlinked already, updated. Provide 3 letters of reference. They'll compile all that into one PDF and upload it here. And then provide a 1-page project summary addressing the tasks being undertaken per the activation plan. And then they'll save application if they're not ready to submit. And if they're ready to submit, they'll submit their application, and they'll then get an email saying that the application has been submitted, and someone will get back to them should there be further questions or clarification. And then that's it. It's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. I have access on my end to then review the applications as they come in and share them with our convener staff. And do we have any questions? I can't hear you, Ish. Sorry, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Any questions in the chat, or anybody want to come off mute or raise their hand? Questions related to this round 3 process and what Maria just presented, use of the portal, any questions on the NOFO? Now's your opportunity to ask.
Hi, Maria. Thank you so much. Just a quick question. This is Fatana again. So for the funding, so we have $1 million, and then we have, let's say, 5 sector, right? So is that gonna be equally distributed, $200,000 per sector? Is it, and then do you have a minimum amount or a maximum amount can an organization apply? And then if, for example, one sector does not receive a lot of application and while we receive many, would we consider moving some of the funding to the other sectors to fulfill the needs?
Oh, are you saying, like, for example, if childcare, we only get a request up to 100,000, would we move the remaining 100,000? Okay,
Yes.
got it. Jesse, would you like to take that question, please?
Latanya, yes, it's all about not only they have to be quality applications. So we would like it to be equitable, 200,000 across the board. But as you mentioned, even if they ask for $250,000, but it's weak, then yes, we will redeploy the dollars, assuming that other sectors have strong projects that warrant over $200,000 in investment. So ultimately, yes, but we're not just going to throw the money into another pot if it's also not strong. So it's really about how many strong projects there are per sector. But our hope is, fingers crossed, there's enough in all 5 to where each gets 200,000. But we're pretty much going to try our best to get the 1 million out the door with these projects. That is the goal.
Got it. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
That question, Tana. We probably have time to sneak in one more question because we're up against the hour. But does anybody?
I'm going to answer the question in the chat. If anyone else has one, I'm going to try to type away here.
Great. Go ahead, Jesse.
Well, no, I'm answering it here. If anyone else has a question, this one's getting addressed, even though I'm not.
There's a question in the chat from Catherine. Are there any minimum or maximum limits per group?
Catherine's easier. No min, no max.
Great. All right. Alberto, Jesse will be working on an answer to your question while he does that. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'll answer verbally. Sector investment coordinators is funding available for staff to help ensure project success, grow industry sectors. We have the activation plans that we just mentioned. So they're supposed to help drive those. So it's not just another report or plan that just sits on a shelf, but actually literally to activate the activation plans. And they will not be a resource for potential applicants. They're not even really resources to the collaborative members. They're more of a resource to the projects that got awarded in round 1 or 2. But what they will do is inform us on, if you look at this activation plan, are projects in round 1 and 2 already touching upon these in these sectors? Or as a sector investment coordinator, are there activities they're already mobilizing? And therefore it may be duplicative. They need to inform us of what's already happening in the activation plans for us to decide whether we want to throw more weight behind some of these tasks, or whether if it's already being done or will be done soon, maybe we want to fund something else. So, but they are not really essentially, I don't think the collaborators does not have an advantage here because the sector investment coordinators are part of this process.
Great, thank you, Jesse.
And then Catherine, no, it does not seem, I mean, again, the other people can be proposing on the implementation, so I can't speak for this collaborative, but in one that Orange County OCBC is aware of, childcare will not be in the implementation phase proposal. The implementation phase proposal is just, it's a completely different NOFO RFP than what we're releasing here with, I mean, it's all kind of the same name, but the state has very different objectives than how this whole thing started.
Jesse, seriously, maybe I just missed this, but Catherine's question was, okay, can a sector coordinator apply for funding in this third round to support activation plan, advancing the activation plans beyond what we believe we can do within the original funding amount? Yes or no?
If that's no, sector investment coordinators are not eligible for more funding.
Thank you so much. Okay, appreciate that. Thank you.
And that's also in the NOFO, Linda.
That's right. Happy to
Okay,
clarify.
no.
Thank you. Yeah, I glossed through it, but I did not read it.
It's okay.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you all for the questions. Certainly reach out to Maria or Jesse if you have additional questions related to the round 3 NOFO process. And again, keep an eye out for that email. This will be released this upcoming Monday, September 22nd. And certainly we invite you to reach out once release of the NOFO if you have any questions that you want to run by the team here at OCBC. And
Now you move it this way.
Similarly, if you have questions
Now you move it back this way. You don't rip it to the end,
similarly, if
okay?
you have questions on round 1 or round 2, contracting questions, reach out to Natalie, our friend at Charitable Ventures, for any follow-up that you may need. Well, we really appreciate your time here today. Just a brief reminder that our next collaborative meeting is scheduled for Friday, October 31st at 9 a.m. Costume is optional. You can certainly come in your favorite Halloween costume that day. No judgment, but we hope to see you then. And you should have the calendar meeting series for 2026. If for some reason you're not seeing it on your end, please reach out to Maria, and she'll certainly make sure that you have those moving forward for all future collaborative meetings into the new year. But with that, I want to wish you all a great weekend. Thank you for your time this morning. I hope you're all staying safe out there, and we hope to see you soon. Keep up the great work.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.